If you are right, you do not need to defend yourself. If you are wrong, you cannot defend yourself. Epictetus. We live in a world obsessed with image. Everyone is constantly explaining, justifying, proving, to strangers, to friends, to people who don't even care. Social media turned life into a stage, and most of us are actors, desperately trying to convince the audience that we are worthy. But the truth is, the more you try to defend yourself, the more you reveal your insecurity. The Stoics knew this. They understood that truth is self-sustaining. It doesn't need your performance. Today, we're going to explore one of the most powerful principles of ancient philosophy, the art of never defending yourself, not out of arrogance, but out of discipline, self-respect, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are. The Stoic Foundation. In the writings of Marcus Aurelius, you'll find an idea repeated over and over. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. In other words, stop explaining. Start living. Marcus wasn't telling us to ignore criticism. He was telling us to let our actions speak. The Stoics believed that defending yourself too often is a trap. It pulls you into the opinions of others. It forces you to play their game. And slowly, you start living for their approval, not your own principles. Modern-day parallel. Think about it. In the age of Instagram stories, comment sections, and group chats, every disagreement is public. Someone questions your choice, your belief, your path, and the impulse is instant. Explain yourself. Prove them wrong. Show them you're not who they think you are. But here's the problem. When you react to every challenge, you train yourself to be reactive. You hand over control of your emotions to anyone with an opinion. And you signal to the world, your judgment of me is more important than my own. That's why the Stoics practiced the discipline of indifference to insults. Not because they didn't care about truth, but because they refused to let noise dictate their focus. Story? Relatable example. Let me give you an example. A young man once approached Epictetus, frustrated. He said, "They are saying terrible things about me. Lies." Epictetus looked at him calmly and replied, "It is not their words that harm you. It is your opinion of their words." Imagine how much energy you would save if you stopped rushing to defend yourself every time someone misunderstood you. You'd have more time to actually live the values you want to be known for. It's like a lion in the wild. When the dogs bark, the lion doesn't turn around. Not because he can't fight, but because the barking is irrelevant to his mission. The inner game. Not defending yourself is not about silence for its own sake. It's about inner strength. It's about building such a solid foundation of self-awareness that accusations, gossip, and attacks simply don't shake you. Seneca said, "The man who is brave is free." And freedom in this context means freedom from the chains of other people's judgments. When you need to explain yourself, you're chasing validation. When you choose not to, you're declaring to yourself, "I answer only to truth and to my own conscience." This is emotional control in its highest form. This is what separates the grounded man from the insecure one. Application to modern life. So how do we apply this in the chaos of modern life? Pause before responding. When someone challenges you, take a breath. Ask, "Is this worth my energy?" Most of the time, the answer is no. Let actions do the talking. If someone doubts your ability, show them through results, not arguments. Results are undeniable. Accept misunderstanding. You will be misjudged. You will be gossiped about. Accept it as the price of living on your own terms. Practice selective silence. Not every battle is worth fighting. Choose the ones that matter for your values, not your ego. Here's the paradox. The less you defend yourself, the more respect you earn. Because people see a man who doesn't flinch, who doesn't scramble for approval, who stands still in the storm. When you can stay calm while others demand you explain yourself, you become dangerous in the best way. Dangerous to manipulation. Dangerous to pettiness. Dangerous to the shallow noise that consumes most lives. So, here's my challenge to you. The next time someone attacks your character, criticizes your choices, or demands you justify yourself, pause. Breathe. And remember, the truth needs no defense. Live in such a way that your life becomes your argument. Be the man whose actions are too loud for his words to compete with. If you found value in this message, subscribe. Not for me, but so that every week you are reminded of who you could become if you stop chasing approval and start living like a Stoic.